weed, smoke that.
Welcome back. Time for us to go behind the headlines, 13 after the hour. And in this next story, which is not the Montana story that's up there, been having some trouble with the graphics today. My apologies. This story comes to us from Chicago, Illinois. And in this story, we have a woman who was charged with causing a fatal accident. Basically, what had happened is that she got herself she was a little bit distracted in her car and then lost track of what was going on, ran into another car that was parked into another car that then was pushed out into the streets, and that is where it hit a group of motorcyclists, harming many of them and killing two. Now, in this case, this woman just received a sentence from Judge Alan Anderson of 7 years in prison for causing this crash back in 2009 that killed these two people. She had pleaded guilty in December to 2 counts of aggravated DUI, and she must serve 85%, or at least nearly 6 years, of that sentence. Now, here's where the story gets interesting. The DUI portion that she is charged with comes from the fact that after the accident and after there was blood tests taken, that they found trace amounts of marijuana in her system. Now, the prosecutors in this case were interviewed about this, and the prosecutors made it clear, according to the reporting of it in the Chicago papers, the prosecutors made it clear that they don't believe marijuana caused the woman to hit the car on the morning of May 23rd, 2009. 2 cars were stopped in front of her, turning left off the highway. She allegedly slammed into the rear car, into the front one, pushed it into the motorcyclists, and killed the 2 motorcyclists on the bike. If anything, prosecutors say, Bernard was apparently texting at or around the time of the collision, which may have prevented her from keeping a proper lookout. Now, the prosecutors have evidence. They found that there was a text that she had sent to her boyfriend that said she was way too sick to drive, and she sent the text at 8:23 in the morning. The crash occurred between 8:20 and 8:25, according to media reports. Now, in her defense, she testified that what had happened had nothing to do with texting, but that she was reaching for her sunglasses because sunlight was reflecting off the chrome of the motorcycles and kind of doing a strobe effect. This is early in the morning, 8:25 in the morning in May in Chicago. So I imagine the sun's pretty low on the horizon and you'll get that reflection pattern. She said it kind of did a strobe light effect, and she was reaching for her glasses, looked down, ran into the cars. So either way, we have her, admitting here that she was being negligent or looking away at the time. We have the prosecutors saying that, no, it's probably having something to do with text. So where does the marijuana come in here? The prosecutors aren't saying that her marijuana use caused the wreck. She's not alleging, nobody's alleging that she was high at the time. In fact, when they got the information back from the toxicology screens, that's where the prosecutor said, no, there's probably, not enough in her system to have really had any effect on her driving. So the marijuana had nothing to do with it. So why is she pleading guilty to 2 counts of aggravated DUI? Why is this not a case of negligent homicide, negligent, vehicular manslaughter, whatever it might be? Here is why. This is reporting coming from the Chicago Sun-Times. Bernard became vulnerable to the more serious charges after an April Illinois Supreme Court decision ruled that prosecutors did not have to prove impairment was a proximate cause of a fatal crash, but just that defendants have any amount of drug in their systems. That decision prompted prosecutors to upgrade the charges and potential penalties against Bernard. So here we have prosecutors who know the marijuana did not cause the crash, who admit that it probably had nothing to do with her causing the crash, but because they can, they go ahead and upgrade the charges to the DUI. They make the worst charges here and force her to plead guilty to something she was not guilty of. She was not impaired while she was driving. She was not driving under the influence of cannabis. She was not in any way being irresponsible. This is just a case of discrimination against a marijuana user. That's plain and simple. Here we have, it's a sad thing. And of course, nobody, is saying that maybe she shouldn't be punished for this. You know, when you wreck your car and wrecking your car ends up killing somebody, there's certainly some punishment that is going to be meted out. But in this sort of a case, this needs to be charged as what it is, being distracted, as an accident, as, and if the prosecutors want to push that she was texting, then you've got negligence, you've got all sorts of other charges there. But to press this charge of DUI, when they themselves know that wasn't it, they're just using it because, well, it's in the toolkit, we might as well use it. How is that justice for anyone? Let's find out what a judge and a jury of her peers might have come to as far as conclusions on guilt and culpability and how much sentence she should have had based on what the facts of the case are. Yesterday, I had to tell a story of the judge not allowing a woman to have her 20-day-old infant in the courtroom because it might prejudice the jury. It might lead the jury to come to a wrong conclusion about that person. But in this case, we can admit the negligible amount of marijuana or marijuana metabolite she might have had in her system, and don't think that doesn't prejudice the jury. They can say all they want that, there wasn't enough in there or whatever, but as soon as the jury hears, pot smoker, she had pot in her system, they don't know chemistry, they don't know nanograms per milliliter, they don't know tolerance, they don't know metabolite from metabolic rate from, Mediterranean, Louisiana. They don't know. This is just insane that this is the way our Justice Department is played, and how the use of marijuana in the system through drug testing, through all these ancillary ways, we get treated as second-class citizens and discriminated against merely for the fact that we use marijuana, and that marijuana, unlike every other drug out there, tends to stay detectable in our systems for longer lengths of time. If this woman is somebody who was abusing OxyContin or heroin or methamphetamine a week or two ago, it wouldn't have been enough in her system to have detected any. And she'd have been able to face justice for what she actually did, either was distracted or was texting, and not for the fact that she happened to choose a substance safer than alcohol. It makes me so mad.
Rebel.
Fortunately, we got some Rockin' Friday coming up. That'll put me in a good mood. We got Ichabod and Herb Thrasher coming up next.
Oh, have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. Have you ever met that funny reefer man? A reefer man. If he said he swam to China, he would say